High in the western Himalayas, cradled in the Karakoram mountains of northern Pakistan, lies a plateau known as the Land of Giants. The Deosai Plateau in Gilgit Baltistan is the second highest plateau in the world. At an elevation of over 4,000 meters, this icy wilderness is covered in a blanket of snow for 8 months of the year. Its lakes and streams frozen, the land inaccessible. But even at this altitude, Deosai's vast 3,000 square kilometers are not barren. For 4 months of the year, as the strong mountain sunlight warms the earth, the rolling plains come to life. The summer meadows of this Himalayan eco-region are strewn with swathes of wild flowers. Over 340 species of plants are spread across these plains and hills. And the bird song of more than 200 types of birds fills the air. Deosai is also home to 18 species of mammals, with plenty of playful golden marmots on hand to delight visitors. But there is another resident of Deosai that's the most striking of all: the Himalayan brown bear. The national park was established here in 1993 to protect the brown bear's survival. Today in Pakistan, apart from the Deosai, brown bears are found only in very small numbers. The Deosai National Park, however, is the sole habitat in the whole of South Asia that has a stable and increasing population. When the park was created in 1993, little was known about the ecological needs of the bears. The park was divided into zones to allow for the shared use of resources between wildlife and people. Despite the demarcation of zones, the core areas are not always respected as being for the sole use of the wild animals. There are many pressures on the park. Gujars journey annually from the plains of the Punjab to the Deosai, bringing their large herds of livestock to feed on the rich summer pastures. Every year, the herders are taking their livestock deeper into the bear's habitat. Even more devastating for the park, the shepherds cut vast amounts of shrub for fuel, with dire consequences. The willow they cut is extremely slow growing due to the altitude, and it's being depleted at an alarming rate. There are many settlements in the valleys below the park. The people rely heavily on their livestock to eke out a living. They have nowhere else to graze their livestock other than the lush meadows of the Deosai Plateau. When the park was created, they claimed traditional grazing rights, which had to be respected. In 2012, approximately 14,000 livestock belonging to the residents as well as nomadic communities grazed the pastures of the Deosai National Park. As the livestock consumes the palatable plants, the composition of flora in the park is changing. Non-palatable plants are finding room to spread and flourish, and the quality of the bear's feeding ground is deteriorating steadily. In the Deosai, infrastructure development has gathered pace in recent years. The construction of roads and bridges is allowing for easier access across the plateau. The Gilgit Baltistan authorities have been persuaded that such development is beneficial, with little regard for the needs of the wildlife and the fragile ecosystem. Visitors to the Deosai number in the hundreds and are increasing every year. Many of them have very little understanding of good environmental behavior. Some leave behind trash and light fires in the park, as well as poaching and fishing, all strictly against the park rules. Instead of acting as caretakers of this stunning piece of national heritage, the visitors often inflict harm to it. Environmental education is desperately needed for visitors to the Deosai, as well as for local communities. Unfortunately, the park authorities badly lack the funds needed to manage the park. The arrangement that visitors from within the region don't need to pay to enter the national park adds to the problems. Today, the brown bear is one of the most threatened animals in South Asia. The future of the species in Pakistan, and perhaps the region, may well depend on the stability of the Deosai National Park. It and its biodiversity must be protected so that future generations can continue to enjoy this valuable part of our natural world.